If you've ever wondered why some brands grow quickly while others stay stuck, or why certain entrepreneurs seem to attract attention without even trying, there is a pattern underneath it. And I see it every day while studying brands, and it's the same pattern I lean on while rebuilding my own business from scratch. I spend a lot of time watching how brands work, and I look at what makes people pay attention, what creates trust, and what helps a business stand out in a crowded space. I've been an entrepreneur for over 15 years in marketing, event planning, content creation, and brand strategy. And my previous business earned over 4,000 five-star reviews with a 4.99 customer review rating. So I've seen both sides, building a brand that people love and now rebuilding a brand from the very beginning. What I've noticed is simple. Impact brands are not built by accident. They're built with intention. They decide who they are before the world tries to decide it for them, right? Most entrepreneurs think that their brand isn't growing because of their logo or their colors or their follower count. But the real issue is that their brand doesn't communicate who they are in a way that people can actually feel. Okay. People connect to brands when they feel like they're grounded. They're going to ignore all the brands that feel scattered and that have no direction. A brand with no clear identity will always work 10 times harder to get half the results as a brand that has a clear direction and understanding of who they are as a brand. Now, from watching leaders like Alex Hermosi and Tony Robbins and all these others, I've noticed something they all have in common. Their brand identity is simple, strong, and honest. They communicate the same values every time they show up. They don't try to be everything at once. They don't try to chase every angle. What they do is they choose a specific impact that they want to make, and then they build everything around that one thing because people aren't drawn to perfect brands and people aren't trying to look for the perfect brands, right? People are drawn to brands that know who they are, who the customer is, right? And what they're looking for. As I rebuild my brand from scratch, this lesson shows up again and again. When I try to shape my brand based on what people might like, everything feels very forced. But when I focus on the impact that I genuinely want to make, things actually start clicking into place. My message feels stronger, my content feels easier to create, and people actually understand what I stand for without me trying so hard to even explain it. Now, brand impact comes from knowing the value you bring and repeating it until people actually associate that value with your business name or your brand name. Now, impact brands do a few things consistently that most entrepreneurs don't do. They show people what they actually believe in through their behavior, through their actions, not through fancy marketing tips or anything like that. It's how they speak, what they're saying, the content that they're posting, right? Because it's going to feel more natural. It's going to feel authentic, right? It's not going to feel rehearsed or like they're making it up as they go. And they're also making decisions from a place of purpose, not from like feeling pressured, right? They have a clear direction. Now, when someone interacts with them, they always get the same experience, right? They're not switching up how they're moving with each customer. It's a consistent way that they move. Their tone is always steady. The message is steady. Their values that they bring is always steady. That steadiness is what builds trust. And trust is the foundation of every strong brand. That's what attracts customers to you, right? That's what builds your sales. It's that trust from your customers. And a strong brand identity is not about your style. It's not about your logos or your colors and things like that. It's about how stable you are, that the stability that you carry off in your brand messaging, because it tells people that you can count on me, right? You can trust me, right? Make that connection. Now, if you want to build a brand with real impact, you don't need to reinvent yourself and everything that you're doing. What you need to do is decide what you want people to recognize you for. Once you make that decision, everything else becomes so much easier because your message will become clearer. Your content will have direction, and your audience is going to know why they should even care to listen to what you have to offer. People only follow brands that feel sure about what they bring to the world. If you have a business and you're not sure what you offer or who you are offering it to, then you're going to move a lot slower than the brands that know who their potential audience is, that know what message they want to say and what they're offering, right? So when your brand identity lines up with your message, right? When your brand of who you are, right? Your whether it's your personal brand or your business brand, once your identity lines up with what you're saying, what you're posting, your message, right? Your audience will start connecting with you so much faster. They're going to remember you. It's going to be easier to remember you. And they're also going to talk about you. They're going to share everything that they've heard about you because they can connect with you. They can trust you. And when that trust builds, that's when you start to see your sales increase. That's when you start to see your engagement increase, the shares, the likes, the responses, the comments, right? They're going to start engaging with you more because everything just flows naturally. They see you as real, right? People are drawn to brands that feel real, that feel steady, that have a consistent message, that have some type of meaning, some type of purpose. Brand impact isn't created by doing more, right? I'm just going to post to post because the more I post, this should work. That's not the key. That's not the pattern. It's created by being more intentional with who you are and how you're posting, right? What do you stand for? What are you saying? How are you saying it? Make sense? Impact brands are built from the inside out. They start with the identity. They don't start with the strategy. So they start with their mission, their values, who they are, what they believe in, their beliefs. And then they figure out again how and who they are going to help, right? So they know who they are. They know what they believe in, but they also know what you believe in as well and what you want as a customer, right? Your business needs to represent that as a whole because then it makes it easier for people to choose you over your quote unquote competitors. Okay. A strong brand identity is going to turn everyday marketing into long term influence. Okay. So be influential. Make sure that you have a strong brand identity to promote and talk about. So, if this helped you understand how real brand impact is actually built, please make sure to subscribe to the channel. I share a new lesson every day for 365 days as I rebuild my brand from scratch and study the entrepreneurs and business brands who are leading with real intention. So, I appreciate you, friend. Thank you so much for your support, and I will see you in the next one.